The first thing is, I think that I saw the message from Sam that he already showed that prettier is the first thing that you want to have, because it will format your code. And this is very important actually, because it's very hard to read any code if it's not formatted. Have you tried to play with it? Anyone?
Or prettier?
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Okay, so let me create some two files. Ooh, not that. So, yes. First thing, what prettier does. Imagine that I create some elements. And here I have div, and here I have, I don't know, another div. And here I have a li. Maybe not a li, just ul. Maybe I put it like this. And I have super ugly code. It's something like that. Maybe I put p, something like that. Crazy, unaligned. The favorite part of some students is to have many empty lines. Something like that. And this is really hard to read. So let me just put something. Title, item, item, text. It's definitely hard to read. That is why if you have prettier, if you're on Mac and press Shift Option F, it will make it nice. So again, go back. From this, with Command Shift F, you will have formatted aligned text. And you need to remove this line as well. Or you can do right click and format document. So for me it shows the combination, and for you that should show you the same, the hotkeys for that. So now it looks nice.
So the keys are Shift Option F.
Yes. Same with JavaScript. So if you have a function, we have a shortcut. Again, this is another plugin, but let's say function, and yeah, name is fine, params, great. And you have some let, I don't know, test equals hello. Maybe you have some for let I, you have something like 0, and because this is favorite part, the very common thing that students do is avoid spacing or put too many spaces. Let's say minus, I don't know, param x and I plus plus, and maybe put something like that, which is kind of C style of code. So if you have anything that's just people just normally put brackets on the new line. This is C. This is different language. We don't do this in JavaScript. So here I put some let, I don't know, counter equals I don't know, something stupid. But anyway, so it's something like that. So it's messy. And if you put Shift Option F, you have nicely aligned code. From this to, which is hard to read, and it puts you spacing where you need it. It will put the bracket on the correct line, and now you have a nice structured function. So prettier is, sorry?
Would it also like automatically put the missing brackets, or missing brackets are not a
No. So syntax, it will never sorry, it will never fix your syntax, but it will put semicolons in the end, because this is a setup for for the prettier. So if I miss my semicolon, and here I'm missing my semicolon, and put apply prettier, now I have my semicolons. So this is the only thing that it will add. But no, it will not. It's not fixing your syntax errors and syntax problems. Just formatting. Yeah, this is the first thing. Very, very important. First tool. Second tool is not material. Probably I'm just trying to make it nice. But the next one that we will use quite a few times is LiveShare. This is from Microsoft. This is like an official extension for VS Code. So what it does is actually that you can, I can call you in VS Code. Basically, I'll share a link. So if I go to, this is the icon of this LiveShare. So if I click on the icon, and I can create a start collaboration session. Right, I need to sign in. Never done it before. Give me a second. Yeah, now I did it. Beautiful. So now, collaboration session. Please enter to confirm and escape. Give me a second. So let's try again. Enter your URL of the collaboration session. Oh, sorry, yeah, join. Probably, yeah, so start collaboration session. And come on. Always start a goal. Yeah, so copy, it is automatically copied. So I can share, for example, in our Slack, I will send you a link. So if you click on this link, you will join my VS Code and we can type together here. So you can actually do that now if you want just to play around and see how it works. So we will have an audio call here. So you can mute yourself and unmute. So we can talk via VS Code and we can type together here at the same time. So this is very easy to debug your code when you start working on it. This is very helpful on the very beginning. So this is the LiveShare. It will automatically install the share audio and some extension pack. It's like 3 packages all together. Next thing is, this is for future, but when you're installing all your tools, just do it now. So React snippets. This is very, very useful. We'll get to React section, but for now, for example, for React, if I want to create React component, I can do something like import React from React, then have something like const my component equals and export my component, export default my component. So do it manually, nothing smart, but I can create like RFC, which is React functional component, and have it. Right? So
what's the name of the plugin?
This one, ES7 React Redux GraphQL React Native snippets. As you can see, it's pretty popular. We have 1.5 million downloads.
Yeah.
So people use it. It is very helpful. And yeah, they still use the old syntax. I normally, if I use the snippet, I use it always, but every time I'm using it, what I'm doing actually is removing this one, putting const, because I would prefer to use ES6 and have, let's say, index, but the naming should be from capitals. it will take, oh, but yeah, I forgot. That, for example, if I remove this, rename my component to my component, this is what we normally do with React. That the file name represents the actually component name. So if I put RFC, hit enter, as you can see, it takes my component, the file name, because this is the convention that people use. So const. But again, don't worry about React. We're not doing that now. I'm just showing you the examples. Or we also have some extra plugins for, and we will talk again about that in future. We can have React. So we can have CC, which is class component, and that will create a class. The old syntax for React from yeah. So since we have React 16, we normally write functional components, but this is the old way of declaring components, class components. And the other thing that is very popular for React is prop types. So I'll show you the snippet. So for example, RFCP. So you're saying that prop type should be included, and now it includes automatically import your prop types, create the prop types, and like you have a valid syntax for the component with prop types. So prop types is basically here you can define that in my props I will have, I don't know, name, which should be a string. So prop type dot string. So you're defining that, and if somebody from other component will send you a variable name with the value number, it will throw you an error. So it's like you typecasting your data. So it is very useful, and yeah, just because you doing your setup now, just install this plugin, and you'll use it when we get to the React module. And the last thing I would say is a code spell checker. So
that will be the lifesaver.
Sorry?
That will be the lifesaver.
Yeah, that's true. So it's very easy in the code, because when you normally type in anywhere, you have like a syntax validation, right? And it's highlighting you the errors. But when you're typing, it's very easy to misspell, because you don't see what's going on, like, and it doesn't highlight you. So if you have, I don't know, kitten, right? Tom. It's highlighting me like this blue wave because it misspelled, so unknown word, right? So if I change it to kitten, now it is working, right? So this is a huge thing. Just install it. Code spell checker. Again, as you can see, it is very popular because people need it. Yeah, I think these are the essential plugins for you. Oh, right, I completely forgot the most important one. So as you saw, for the when I created my HTML, I did like h1, I created h1, then I did div, and inside div I created another div, and like did it everything manually. But what if we can simplify this process? So VS Code has pre-built plugin which calls Emmet, E-M-M-E-T. It is pre-built, you don't need to install it. You just need to put one tick in the right place. I'll show you in a second. But what it does, that if, so you can create this layout manually, right? Tag by tag. But with Emmet, you can do something like, I want to have h1, plus I want to have a sibling, right? This is a sibling for h1, which should be div. And inside my div, I want to have a UL, one child, only one child in my div. So I want to have a UL, and inside my UL, I want to have a li, and a sibling for a li should be p, right? So now if I hit tab, I have the same layout, right? So it's much faster to build layouts. And actually you can create add text there. So to add actual text, you just put curlies after the tag and have title. And for this one I have list item, and for this one I have text, right? Ooh, wait a sec. Why it doesn't work? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and it will create the same layout. And you might think, okay, but I want to have some classes, IDs, etc. No problem at all. So let's create some, so we can create div with class, I don't know, container. So you use dot as with CSS, you just put dot straight after, and there inside this div I want to have h1, which should be title, and I want to have a list, plus I want to have a list, and inside I want to have 5 items, right, or 6 items. Let's say the list should be navigation, so maybe here I want to have an actually image. Yeah, let's create a navigation. So we have like a div logo, and there I have an image tag, and I want to wrap it here. So if I leave it as this one, I'll create a div, and inside I will have image and a UL, but I want to have a sibling for my div logo. The UL is supposed to be sibling, so I'll wrap it into parentheses. So now this is one thing, and now I'm creating a sibling to this div container with logo. And here I want to have some navigation, class navigation, and there I want to have 5 items. So I can do something like li plus li plus li, which is annoying. What I can do is multiply 5. So now I have 5 li's. And I can go crazy because I can do something like dot, for example, now item. So I'm adding class now item for every single thing, but I want to set, individualize them and make more specific for each. So I will add now another class item, sorry, now item underscore $, and that will take counter and will make item 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for each separate. And here inside I want to put text, something like item space and $, again that will use this counter. So now if I press tab, it will allow me to come on. Give me a second. Why it doesn't like what I'm doing? Doesn't like for some reason. Let me just wrap it. Maybe just yes. So now I have list of items, right? And each item has now item class and have now item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the same here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very easy to create layouts, and it's like it simplify and you'll reduce your time for layouts. So keep that in mind. This is Emmet. So how to so normally you do it on tab. So you press tab in the end of this Emmet line. Come on. Why is complaining? 5. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So put 5 and tab. Beautiful. I don't know why it doesn't like to do it if I jump somewhere else and go back, but eventually, so on top, it does on top. And again, see, it's not misaligned. So if I put press Shift Option F to use prettier, it will put everything to the right position. So how to do that? If I go to my code, give me a second, where is it? Something have settings here? No, probably preferences. Yeah, settings. And look for Emmet, right? and scroll to the very, very bottom, we will have trigger. Oh, here it is. Trigger, that is why it doesn't work. Trigger expansion on tab. So I need to put my tick here, and now that will work as I expect. So if I put on trigger, yeah, you go to settings, look for Emmet, scroll down, and you have trigger expansion on tab. Hit, put your tick there. So now if I go here, I believe yes. So now I can jump whatever I want and click, and now it is working. Beautiful. And if I don't need actually this parenthesis. Yes, it was just an issue with the Emmet. So hit tab, line, something like that. Do you have any questions about this plugin?
What about the basic structure of the HTML, like something you write HTML and tab, it gives you basic structure. Can you do that with this?
Yeah, so this is even without, maybe it is Emmet, but if you have on your VS Code, if you open your index.html, put exclamation mark and hit tab, you have your basic layout, basic structure for HTML file. So exclamation mark,
thank you,
tab, and you have it. Yep. Any other questions? No? Okay. So I noticed that you're not very talkative in our Slack group. So the whole point of of our course is to have someone that will answer all your questions. So if you're not asking any questions now because you don't have, because everything is super clear and you're very comfortable with your exercise, this is a good reason to not to ask. This is fine. But if so, that means that we need to work a bit more to complicate your life and do more complicated exercises, but we will get to that point. It's coming. We will have more and more intense exercises, and the quantity of these exercises will grow. But eventually, if you have any question, just send a message, because we are there and you will only benefit. Don't be shy, because this is a big problem on the very beginning, that people are just shy, and I get it. You might not feel very comfortable to ask question, because maybe this is a silly question, maybe this is... There is no silly questions. You start learning new subject. You can't have silly questions, because we don't expect you to have any knowledge about that. And it doesn't mean that if I know this is a silly question. I know this because I've asked such questions a few years ago. That is why I know that. And if I didn't, I probably won't be here and will not tell you these things now. So any question, if you're doing something on a site and you're watching some YouTube videos or whatever you're doing, like because you want to explore something, and you got any question, maybe you're watching the Git video, and because some of you shared that before, sorry, and that you have any questions, just ask. This is how it works, and that is why we are here. And if you have if you need some clarifications about Git or whatever, I'm happy to explain. I'm happy maybe to organize. If you have particular question, we can organize a quick call and everybody can join, and I can explain on examples what it does and how it works. And yeah, so this is the whole point of us to be with you and go through the course with you, because we want to be like, this is like a first app on your pocket, that when you have a question, just open the laptop, send the question, and you'll get an answer.
Cool. I have one about the Git, if it's okay to ask.
Yeah, sure.
So you know the when you have changes and you want to push upstream, you say push and the U and the origin master. If you already have done it and then you have made some changes to the file and you have some commits, what's the difference between you just say git push and git push U and origin master between two commands?
So your upstream command means that you've created your local branch and it doesn't exist remotely on your GitHub. That is why you run type. So you have a Git repository. You have there on your Git repository. Let's go to GitHub. And let's actually create some dummy repo, right? Why not? Dummy repo. Clone. Oh, sorry. I'm not sharing my screen.
Yeah, we can't see anything.
Yeah, every time if I'm doing something and I miss that, just tell me. Because I do it quite often.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't understand.
Yeah, Siri, of course. Okay, so here I've just created a dummy repo. Let's actually initialize it here. So I will open my terminal. This is actually quite useful too. I've never used it before VS Code, and I would say that I didn't use it for a while when I started using the VS Code. But terminal here is actually very helpful because you don't need to jump between windows. So just git clone git repo. Beautiful. So now we have a folder, right, which is empty because we don't have any data there. And let me just put some files inside. So now we have two files, and if I run git status, right, sorry, I didn't navigate to my dummy repo, and I go to git status, we have two files, right? Which is red. So if I run command git add, so I want to add everything, so I put dot. I can add file by doing just copying file name. So I've added just one. So if I run git status again, I have one edit and one not. But normally what you do, so let me reset, git reset. If you edit accidentally and you want to reset what you've added, just git reset, git status. So now they're again red files, right? So I want to git add everything, and now git status. So now we have two files added. Git commit -m. So -m means that you're leaving message. This is a flag. And here, I don't know, first commit. And now you just do git push. And this is just git push, right? The regular git push. And this is because we're already in a master branch. And this master branch, if I refresh the page, we have master branch by default. So when you create in a repo, you get in your master branch. But in example, you're creating a new branch, git checkout -b. So why I use checkout? So you can do git branch and branch name, so you'll create a new branch, and then you need to git checkout to that branch. But this is like a shortcut, git checkout -b. So when I'm jumping from branch to another branch, I create in this branch. So -b is create a branch basically. And let's say, I know, another branch. So now, as you can see, I switched to a new branch, another branch. And if I run git branch, we'll have two branches, right? This one, another branch, is local. It doesn't exist here. We have just master. So on this stage, because it doesn't exist there, if I try to, let's say I will modify my title, something, I will modify something here and run git, so git status, we have some modification, we can run git diff to see the difference, right? Which is probably not very helpful. The UI is terrible because you're doing that in terminal. But eventually you have on your VS Code, you have this icon which will show you the difference in files that have difference. So when you click on one, you will see that, okay, you had this, now you have this. This is modified file, the new file. So let's have it. So git status again, status. We have just one file, so git add. Let me, git add. You can combine commands, but let's do it manually. Commit -m. Let's call it title. This is just a random message. You can put anything. And now, if I run my git push, it will show me that, oh, we don't actually have this branch there. Current branch has no upstream branch, so we're not matching any branch remotely. So that is why you need to run this command. And if I run it, we will create the remote branch. And now if I go here, so now we have just one, but if I refresh, we have two branches now, right? That is why upstream is when you have a local branch but don't have a remote one. But now we've created this branch, we have already as a remote, we can add p tag, put text, run our git add, git commit, them text, and now if I run git push, it will work. So this is a difference, right?
Yeah.
We might want to organize some workshop about Git in future, because you'll do a lot of git add, git commit, git push for your exercises, and git pull because you want to get the latest changes from exercise repo. But we need to talk about like how the Git works in general, because that might look confusing. That here in master, if I go to my index file, I have all this code, but if I jump to another branch, I don't have it, right? So branching, basically with branches, you can create a separate version of what you're doing. Remember you might, it's like 20 years ago, before Git, let's say, we had something like version 1 folder, and then version 2 folder, and version 3 folder, and version 5, 10, 100 folder. And then you have something like the last version folder, right? And definitely last version for sure, or something like that. So that was messy. That is why Git create you ability to create branches for that. So you have just one nice folder, but you have different branches. So git status, git branch. So here I'm in my another branch, right? Another version of my code. But if I git checkout master, you might see that I have my code, the another version. And this is very helpful when you working as a team, because you have some branch, you have a working code, and you want to change the feature, but you don't want to break it, the existing one. So you're creating a new branch from existing branch, from your master branch, and you're doing your modifications, playing, testing. If everything's working, then what you can do is So we have, we have two branches, right? This one is master. And when you finish with playing with your separate branch, with your another branch, and you think that, okay, I've done with my new feature and I want to merge it to master because now that's supposed to be a main feature. I want to have it in my main code. You create a pull request, which says that I want to merge everything I have in my another branch to the main one, to master. So I create a pull request. Normally in companies, when you work as a developer, you have you want to assign to some reviewers, so people can review your code and say, okay, actually here you can do that in slightly better way. So you can see the code file changed, so you can see the difference. And if I go through the codes, I can click like plus and say, oh, actually, can you change this? Or can you do that? Or can you, yeah, so leave a comment. If you don't have a comments, people just leave a thumb that everything is good. And you normally have like 2-3 people who need to validate your code, read your code and validate. So you need to read, and you'll do that a lot, reading code of another developers. And this is actually a good way to learn something. Like sometimes you read and like, what's going on? And you might have like, you might ask the developer what this does and why do that in this way. Or you might figure out what it does, but say, this is actually much smarter than I was thinking I can do that. So you read basically the code. If you approved it, then you just click merge pull request. And now we are merging. It is merged. So now if you go to our master, it will have the same code as we have in our another branch, right? So we don't have all layout, but which might be confusing, like saying, okay, so I merged, but locally I still have it. But this is because you haven't synchronized your local branch with the remote one. And to do that, so git branch, we are in master. All I need to do is just git pull. This is what you're doing for your exercises. So you've taken the latest version of the repo. And now you have, see, it shows you that it modified your index.html, and now you have it here. But again, this is confusing. We will organize some workshops about that, because Git is confusing, trust me. And that is why we're not starting with like advanced Git, let's say, and all these exercises with Git, because you'll be lost on first few lessons and think that I give up. It's unhandleable. And I saw before with other students when I used to work in other school that they started with Git. This is a completely wrong approach. When you're comfortable with syntax, with programming, and like what's going on, and then you just start playing more with Git, it's kind of understandable and you understand what's going on. But when you start with Git, it's like, so yeah. Git, all you need to know for now is git add, git commit, git push, and git pull to get the latest changes. This is it. But yeah, we will have later in the course, we will organize some workshops to help you and learn Git a bit. Yeah. So we also have, we organize, after each module, we have like a Saturday evening call about like a Just Talk, where we just talk and share our feelings about the module, about exercise, what you think you're missing, what you didn't get, or anything, basically anything. You can ask about career, you can ask about workflows, typical day as a developer, whatever. Yeah, we're that's why we have such calls, just to share kind of real life experience besides the coding, because exercises is great, but we are still humans and we want to know like how it's happening and how to be a developer and what it is. Yes, I think that might be it from my side. And yeah, so the bottom line is ask questions if you have any, even if it is side project, some side material that you just found in the internet, and you don't understand something, just ask. And I also like on the when we started with previous cohorts, I found that some people like again was shy and they sent me private messages. They're like, I'm not sure. Like I don't want to ask such thing in the channel. But the whole point is to ask all your questions in the channel because you are asking your question, but four of others will have the same question, but they are too shy to ask it. And again, that is why like if we later on the course for this previous cohort, we had people that somebody asked the question and we had like 40 messages in the thread for this question and people asking and clarifying and like answering, and the whole communication is actually working. So
Yeah.
have a question.
The Vasily, can I ask about the CLI project, if
Yes.
that's okay?
Sorry.
So it might be a bit early, but we're just wondering why it got introduced in the first lecture, and how should we approach, and when is the deadline?
So yeah, with a project for each module project, the deadline is the last day of module. So basically, for you, it's in already in 3 weeks, right? So I mean, on the last day of the module. But why it's introduced on the first day? Because we just want to give you as much time as we can, so you can read the like if you read the description and requirements on the very beginning, and when you go through the lessons and exercises, you will think about, oh, actually that's something similar I saw as a requirement in the project, and oh, actually that might be helpful for my project, or you'll get more ideas about the project. So
Yeah, because I start looking into it, and there's lots of different puzzles. Like number one, you should be able to read JSON file, so you have some bits and pieces in JSON
you
files.
don't we don't expect you to know anything on this stage.
Yeah.
But we will have lessons for next week. We have HTML, CSS lessons. Then we will work with JSON, and we will work with local storage, and we will get to the. So during the module, you'll learn everything you need for this project. But when you're starting, again, if you understand, you already see, okay, I need to render a list, for example, and we will have exercises with loops, and you'll say, actually I can do a piece of this project now and leave it for later because I don't know how to store data or how to do other things and how to work with libraries, but I actually can render something. So I can do this part and play a bit. So it's just to maximize the time for you to understand what's going on and what we are expecting by the end of the module. It's not that you need to finish by Tuesday and you have no idea how to build it.
Yeah, no, it means like it'll be more, the more material will be coming in the third week probably, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say that it will make more sense on the third week for you. For later projects, it will be much better because you'll know more JavaScript, and you can start thinking from the very beginning, okay, I actually can start playing with something. But for the first module, it's kind of tricky because you still will basically wait until week 3 until you get everything you kind of need. And
probably all of us, we have a little bit of basic or the background JavaScript, but full stack you need HTTP request coming from as in CLI required. So I was a bit curious, like how we going to get on to this. But thanks for telling. So there'll be more coming on.
So
week,
definitely so everything, all these projects are based on what you will learn. It's not something that we're not covering, but you still need to do.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks for your time today. And yes, so next week I will be with you. So we have like 1 week Sam, 1 week me, and we're just shuffling.
Cool. Thank you very much, Vasily, for your time.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Asil. Thanks, Asil.
Bye bye.